Welcome to The Open Door with Kelly
and Kelly,
brought to you by Collective Creations
and Legendary Living Arts.
Each week, join us for discussions on spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical health with guests from all walks of life.
We invite you to connect. Today on the podcast, we're welcoming April. So thank you so much for joining us today. Your bio fascinated me, and you do so many interesting things. And I was looking at, I don't even know where to start, like to ask you questions about what it is that you do or what you help people with. I mean, you have counseling degrees and in all kinds of different domains, and you're a Reiki Energy Healing Master, an Ama Deus Energy Healer, a Hypnotherapist, a Past Life Regression Therapist, Certified Auricular Acupuncturist, and a Clairvoyant Psychic-Medium. I don't know where to start. It's like being in a candy store. And I'm like, because I want to know about everything. Is there anything in particular that you want to start with?
Well, thank you for having me first.
Yeah.
And honestly, to tell you what happened was, I came from a difficult background, difficult family, and I wanted to, and I ended up getting pregnant at a very young age. And in efforts to try to save my children from living the same life that I lived, I decided I was going to fix myself. So that is what really prompted all these different certificates and degrees. Was I was really on this journey to figure out if I can fix myself and I can stop this, then I can save my kids from going through that. That's really what happened. And I was actually going to college. So when I was young, I had like these two different sides of the world. I decided I wanted to be either a heart surgeon or a chiropractor. Like we were on two completely
Okay.
Well, I didn't do either one, but so I actually started going to college to be a physical therapist. And I was going for that degree, and every time I would get close to the point where it was time to go to the university, they would up that degree. So initially it started out as a bachelor's.
Right.
And then they upped it to just beyond a bachelor's. Then it became a master's. Now it's like almost a like they kept, so I finally was like,
Wow.
I was super discouraged, and I took this course in college, because in order to manage like kids and work and school, I would just go to school part-time.
Right.
So I would always take two main courses and then kind of a blow-off class so I could, work it all. So I took this course that was basically, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it was the ones where they do all the personality tests and everything. And the teacher was a counselor at the college, and all my tests kept coming out to be a counselor or a hairstylist. So she finally says, April, why don't you do what I do? She's like, I am a counselor here at the school. I get to teach. I only work 32 hours a week. I get great benefits. And I was like, okay. And I switched everything over to counseling. That's how I ended up being a counselor. But you know what? Ultimately, I think that's where I was supposed to be anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's also interesting too, like when you said like a hairdresser, because I think, right, like people will sit in the chair and confide in you, right, when they're sitting there relaxing and doing something. Yep. So it's kind of along the same lines in a way.
Yeah, I think they're counselors too.
Yeah. Yep. Or bartenders, right? Or something.
Yeah. So, in my life, like I was always, even as a child, even like my stepmom, like everybody would come to me and just tell me things. So I think that really I was supposed to be a counselor in the long run anyways. And then what happened was, when I was 27, I finally was strong enough to get a divorce from my first husband. I was forced to get married at 16.
Oh, okay.
And it took me 12 years to get strong enough to leave. And when I did, I just wanted peace in my life. So I took a course to become a massage therapist. So I became a certified massage therapist. And that's really that opened the gate to all the spiritual everything.
Right.
Because from massage therapy, I got into energy work and I got into Reiki. And then as soon as I got into that, my psychic ability just came. I already had it, but it just come flooding in. I didn't know I was a psychic medium.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask about that. Like, if you always knew that you were like that, or if that just, sort of like you just said, that it blossomed at some point. And
I didn't know that I was, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. So my first husband,
okay.
Right after, I was 16, 17 years old, and he come home one day and I had made dinner and I had made extra. And he come up to me and he said, "Why did you make extra?" And I said, "I don't know. I just knew you were bringing somebody home." And he brought a friend home. So I had it, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. Right. And then my mother was a big catalyst for this. My mother believed in everything under the sun. Everything. Actually, when she passed and cleaning out her stuff, I found voodoo dolls. I found those, the all-seeing eyes. I
Oh,
found
wow.
crystal ball. So my mom would take me to psychic fairs and she bought me my tarot cards. And so my mom was the catalyst of that. And when I, was going through the divorce and doing the massage therapy and then doing the Reiki, she was also like pushing me to all these psychic fairs, and it just kind of all came together. And actually I had psychics tell me, you need to be reading me. And I thought, okay, right.
Wow.
Right. So, so then I thought, all right, I had these cards and I thought, well, let me try this. And I started doing readings, believe it or not. I was so insecure about it, like $5 a reading, because I was so afraid. And they were just like nailing it. Like it was, accurate. So that's what started. So I was doing massage and Reiki and readings through a salon. That's how all that started.
Wow.
Crazy story. Yeah. So the Reiki, what happened with that was when I was doing massage, because I am an empath and I didn't know what I was doing, I would do massage and they would steal my energy. People were stealing my energy. So I was getting exhausted.
Yeah. Yep.
So the teachers there, one of the teachers said, take Reiki and then have them take Reiki instead of your energy. So that's what led me to learning the Reiki.
Well, that's really interesting. Because I know I took Reiki years ago. Like, I had my attunements. I don't know. I guess it was about 20 years ago. Hey, Kelly. I mean, I didn't even know you then at that
Yeah,
time.
my Reiki took about 20 years ago too.
Yeah.
Actually, longer.
Yeah. But I know that, from experience, like not working with people, because after I had my attunements, I chose to not work on people because I couldn't differentiate between what was my stuff that I was healing and what was actually their stuff coming up. So I decided that I was going to put that on hold and just work on myself for a long time. And also because like I had a stressful life and I eventually got a divorce and I had children. I had 4 of them. So it was just very like there's only so much I could do and I needed to put my energy into other things. But I know that people can do that they'll take it from you unless you know how to protect yourself that way. So that's excellent that you caught on to that, because I know a lot of people even have gotten injured that I know of when they're not strong enough.
They'll get sick because they're not aware of what's going on, and they'll just let it continuously happen until they're sick.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So once I would complete a massage, I would just be exhausted. I'm like, man, they have to be taking my energy. So Reiki came in, very nicely. You turn it on and it does its own thing. You don't have to tell it what to do. So yeah, that's what I did with that. The mediumship is an interesting story. So while I was going to school, doing my 3 kids, I actually had my own house cleaning business for a long time. So I would clean houses. And I was trying to get out of that field. I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I had this house, so I got referred to a lady, right? And I debated whether I should go clean it, whether I shouldn't, because I wasn't going to do this anymore. And I thought, okay, I'll go and I'll clean this house and I'll just leave her a note and let her know, look, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this anymore, but I didn't want to just leave you hanging.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in her house, I'm cleaning it, and I'm in her bedroom, and she had this giant white bed. Like, this bed was just ginormous. And I'm wiping the bed down, and her husband comes from the other side, comes behind me and grabs me.
Wow.
I didn't know I was a medium. So I'm standing there in the room. This person comes and grabs me, and I'm like, I'm just here to clean the house. I'm just here to help her. And then I thought, I am talking to the air. Like, something's wrong with me. Like, what am I doing? And he ended up following me all the way through the house and giving me images and pictures. And I finished the house, and I went to walk out, and I said, well, if he follows me for 2 weeks, I'll call her. And sure enough, he followed me for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And that's when I figured out I was a medium. I didn't even know I was a medium.
Wow. So he followed you because he had a message for her, or
Yeah, it turns out, so this lady was best friends with my mom. My mom's best friend was friends with this lady. So it turns out that this lady's husband had passed from a heart attack, and she was actually suicidal. And I called her and I said, you know what? I asked her if she had a birthday or an anniversary coming up, and she didn't answer me. So then I thought, okay, I've lost my mind. And so I asked her again, and she said, April, they're both coming. And I said, I think I'm supposed to give you a reading. So she's like, well, how does this work? I said, I don't know. So I said, maybe some gas money and I'll come out. And I came out and I told her everything that I had got and all the images and the dates. And so through, word of mouth, it gets back to my mom's best friend and then to my mom, right? That she was actually contemplating suicide, but now that she had talked to him, she was okay.
Wow.
That's what happened.
Wow.
So, yeah, I didn't really like that amount of responsibility, but that was what showed me that this is a gift and it's meant to heal others. So that's where I learned that, it's a gift that I'm given that I can help heal other people's hearts. They learn that their loved ones are still here.
Yeah. I don't have people come to visit me that often. Well, maybe more often than I think sometimes, but I have had other loved ones come to give me messages sometimes for myself or, that I haven't seen in a while. And I can remember feeling like, am I crazy? Because I just talked to them. Like, that was such a real experience, like talking to them, just like they were just here. So, but that's excellent that you recognize the gift that you had and that you do that. Now, Kelly and I, we do watch a lot of TV shows like that. So it's very fascinating to.
Like Kindred Spirits, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Nation, all those types of shows. Where, because we're both very curious about other people's experiences and how that layer of reality comes across and it interacts with human living 3D reality.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now we know someone who does that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and congratulations for embracing your gifts, because a lot of people will fight them. I know with some of mine, I'm like, no, I for years, I'm like, I would like, no, I can't really do that. I don't want, I'm like, no, I can't, I don't do that. And it took a long time to like go, oh, yes, you can. And same kind of thing where you're supposed to help people, but so good for you.
Yeah, that was the one. I had one other reading that stands out that I did, but it was a mom who had lost her son. He was doing, and he was young. He was like 8. He was doing motocross, and they had set up the berms and stuff incorrectly.
Oh no!
And that was another one that it was just so healing for her that for me it feels like such a gift to be able to do that. And that's where I really get to appreciate it. So I always use it as a gift, and I always, before I do a reading or after, I always say thank you. I always say, give me what the people need. Let me hear the message they need. Bring to me what you need me to tell them to heal. Because I treat it very much like a gift. So that's just how I do it. My goal is to give the most honest, accurate reading that I can in efforts to help. So I just feel that that's the best way to do it. I've had readings from some people where, I've left and I've went, oh my God, it doesn't feel very nice. So I make sure to not do it that way.
Would you like to feel re-energized, revitalized, and ignite your spark within? Join us, Kelly and Kelly, for a 2-day event, Saturday, February 19th and Sunday, February 20th, to dive deep into your innermost self to ignite the divine spark within. Learn from spiritual coaches with decades of experience in meditation, mantras, qigong, and more. Sign up today and receive a free gift. Registration link provided